fueled by C4, Cellucor, and Extend. Use the code Clydesdale to get 20% off the checkout at c4energy.com. On Clydesdale Media, where we bring you the widest array of content here on our YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notifier so you're the first to know when new episodes are available. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Thursday Night CrossFit Talk. My name is Scott Schweitzer. I'm the Clydesdale. She is Jamie Latimer. She's back from vacation, and we are so honored to have with us Tim Kellinger.
Correct.
With METCON RUSH, who they are going live with a mega competition, CrossFit licensed event this weekend in Hagerstown, Maryland. Tim, welcome to the show.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys having me.
One of the reasons I was so excited to have you on, and I said this before we went live on the air, is a lot of your participants are people that this show has met and talked to frequently through our semifinal series. So like Callista Lang and Elena Pomerici and Chance Whitaker, and the list goes on and on and on. Meg O'Donnell, of all the people that we have met and talked about and talked with throughout semifinals. So I'm so stoked to see how they do this week at METCON RUSH.
Yeah, we've been super fortunate to get some, really talented, high-level athletes to come out to participate in the event this weekend. Callista and actually Meg were one of the first to come out a couple of years ago, actually. So I've known them for known of them. We kind of interacted with the competition social media wise. I don't necessarily know them, but I've known of them for a while. And obviously they've taken off. Callista really has taken off big time since she's been at our event back in 2021. But yeah, they're all, amazing athletes. It's been fun to kind of connect with them on social media. And then I get a chance to kind of, briefly interact with them on the event day just because of so much going on. So, but yeah, we're really excited to have some really amazing athletes come out this weekend.
Yeah, Callista almost made the games 2 years ago.
I think she was the last chance qualifier. Yeah. She's a beast, man. She's so good. I'm excited to have her back. I'm really excited to see how she does this weekend because we have a pretty stacked lineup from the women's side. And I think, we'll see how it goes workout wise as far as how it plays out for everybody. But obviously I think she has to be one of the favorites to win the event. So we'll see how it goes.
So my big question for you is, how long have you been around?
This will be our 8th year running the event. This is our 4th year running it at the college. And this is my first year running it as a licensed event through CrossFit. So yeah, we've been there for a little while now. So,
and then you have elite individuals, you have RX teams, scaled teams, and masters teams.
Correct. Yeah.
So what is the breakdown of athletes you have coming to the event?
So we're around 50 individuals, elite individuals. We got about 30 men and 20 women. And then we have, the goal was to kind of break off next year, not to get too ahead of myself, and maybe offer an RX and scaled, potentially, a master's individual division next year to kind of complement our elite individuals, just because we've had such a high demand for athletes to compete in those divisions. And so typically the men have been a little bit higher as far as the reach as far as who wants to participate. So we had close to I think all in all between men and women, we're pushing almost 100 people that wanted to compete individually this year. And so I think it's going to probably be time to break off and allow that to happen next year. But yeah, we have about 30 men coming, 20 ladies coming to compete individually. And we're pushing about 100 teams. We about 20 RX men teams, women's teams, and then we got a ton of scaled women. We got 30 scaled women's teams coming out, and then so on and so forth. We have a 35 to 44 masters division, men, female. So we do male, female partners. I've always found it's a little bit easier to program and equipment wise and the flow of the event with that gender being male, female, and maybe potentially a bit easier to find a partner, maybe kind of at your level sometimes. I don't know. If you're male or female, it might be tougher to find maybe the complement for your division. And then we have a 45 plus division as well for our masters. So yeah, so the masters division is relatively new. We've added that in the last 2 years, and then our elite individuals only been around. This is our 3rd year running elite individuals, and we've been very fortunate to get the level of athlete we've had, considering it hasn't been a very long time that we've been offering that option. So yeah, definitely blessed, definitely fortunate, and we're really excited to see how things go this weekend.
Well, I want to demonstrate like how high end this competition is. These are the graphics you put out when you announce events.
Yeah, my brother does that.
Yeah. Whoever you have doing an awesome job. It is a professional way of like seeing the floor plan, seeing the weights, seeing everything on the floor to know what's going to happen. And then you walk through the event. In addition to that, your graphics guys, like the our
videographer Will is the man, dude.
Yeah. I'm trying to find one of the cool videos. They're everywhere, so it's hard to tell. But like when you announce like, cool flashy things and
so I do all the team announcements. I do all that stuff. My wife, I had to promise her this year that I would do it during like work hours, because I try to highlight the teams as soon as they come in. I think it's really cool to be able to highlight the athletes. So I will go to like their Instagram page, find a cool picture, and then I have some apps on my phone, and I'll personally do all the athlete announcements. I'll put these together, these kind of like these things that kind of show off the athletes. And then Will, he does all of our videos you see on there, kind of like the cool highlights from last year. That's done by Will. And sometimes I'll take some of his videos and I'll collab with some other stuff, because I don't know, I'm not the best at it, but I like to get a little creative there. But we have an awesome team. Like my brother does all those graphics you saw for the competition floor. And then Will's the man, dude. I'm so pumped to have him. He's actually heading up our media team this year. We have a really solid media team. We have about 5 or 6 guys and girls coming out to highlight the event, and he's got some cool stuff cooking. I'm really excited to see what he's got going on for all of our media this year. But yeah, a couple of years ago, we just found that, like, you know, doing the announcement, because again, we're obviously not, you know, we're still considered, you know, quote unquote, a local level event, but I've noticed that like people want to like highlight the workouts as far as briefings in between each event, and it takes up just too much time. And so we decided that it'd be nice to create these graphics that give you to illustrate, because again, we're working like almost a 60-foot length competition floor. It's pretty big, so all of our stuff is going to be considered like very visual, right? Not doing AMRAPs, not staying in place, everything's moving, a lot of moving pieces. And so it was nice to be able to have those visuals so that we could brief the athletes maybe a week in advance via like a video that we upload to like Instagram, and YouTube. And I could kind of go over, hey, this is the layout, this is what's going to happen, this is where you're going to move, these are the standards. And that way they can kind of review that a few times over and over, and then ask questions leading up to the event, so that hopefully game day, there's not, you know, they're not going to, you know, okay, we'll brief the workout, and 10 minutes later go do the workout. They may not remember what we said or what's going on. So just found that there's more value there for the athletes, for me, with all that's going on. It's just easier to do it, you know, ahead of time. So the graphics was my brother. It's all him. Awesome job with the floor graphics. Will, a lot of the videos you're seeing right now, Will he shot those last year at the event, and then I'll use some apps and stuff to kind of like splice some stuff together. But yeah, man, it's a year-round event now, man. Like I said, my wife, as long as my wife is cool with me doing it, she's a big part of it too, man. Her and her family, like we have everything you see in those videos. I own all that stuff, all the rigging, all the flooring, all the weights. I own it all, and so I have all it sitting in sea containers, waiting to be used like once a year, which is kind of crazy. But you know, we house all that stuff at my wife's, you know, where her father's work is. He has a really big construction company, so we get the house all that stuff in the sea containers, and we use all the forklifts and the trailers. We had 5 trailers full of stuff to bring out to the college this year. So it's a huge team effort that, you know, I could never do that without the people on my team. It's become that much. So it's a pretty cool thing, for sure.
You're doing this weekend. Is it just on Saturday, or do you do Saturday, Sunday?
It'll run. So we'll do our elite individuals. They'll run Saturday and Sunday, and then our RX teams will run Saturday, and then our masters and scale will run Sunday. So right now we're just running for 2 days. Again, not to put the cart before the horse. The idea next year is maybe to go 3 days, go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, allow for our RX scaled and masters individuals compete on Friday and kind of kick the whole weekend off. And then Saturday come in again with the elite individuals, RX teams. And Sunday will be the masters again. So it'd be nice. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, anybody's ever run a competition, the biggest like question mark is just help. It's like, I would love to run the event maybe multiple times a year, or maybe even run multiple locations at one time. Because at the college we have a ton of resources, and so the underlying, I think anybody I've talked to that runs competitions, and I've been very fortunate to kind of connect with a lot of different people because of running this. It's just like, hey man, like, is everybody going to show up on game day? And so fortunately this year we have about 70 volunteers. We have a lot of volunteers, so we're very fortunate. I'm very blessed. And so if we can continue that trend of getting, we try to take care of all of our help, we feed them breakfast and lunch, and we have gift bags for them. And we try to get enough help that they're not feeling overwhelmed with, the day. And we try to keep the day short. We'll end Saturday at, 5 o'clock with the ceremonies, and Sunday a little bit earlier. And so that, I mean, even though it's such a production, 4 days of setup, 4 days of teardown versus a couple of hours Saturday and Sunday, we try to keep it so that the quality's there for the athletes. Athletes don't want to be there till midnight. You know what I mean? Judges and volunteers don't want to be there that long. Spectators don't want to be there that long. So the goal is to run really quality events, minimize and cap all the divisions to allow for that quality of a product with the workouts, the timelines, and obviously the overall athlete experience, because I find that that's my biggest focus. With all the social media, it's like I want to highlight the athletes. I want them to feel amazing about themselves coming into the event. I want them to feel like they're coming to an event that wants them to be highlighted and shown in a way that maybe they haven't had an opportunity to be shown in maybe other competitions. And so like I said, the athlete experience, the volunteer experience, the spectator experience is my highest focus when we run these events.
Yeah, the volunteers are the backbone of any competition.
Absolutely.
Jody Lynn says, sounds like you're running a mini rogue operation.
I mean, honestly, in some regards, I mean, again, with all the stuff we have, some of the videos you saw, like we built that rig, and that rig, the specs are essentially what Rogue has as far as quality. And I mean, honestly, like every year we have amazing sponsors too. Like the event is sponsored by the Maryland Army National Guard. We're working with Signs RX big time. They've been awesome this year. We're working with Physical, which is like a supplement company. Swolverine is a sponsor this year. Tons. And I mean, we have probably well over $5,000, if not more, just prizes. I mean, we've got hooked up tiers doing all of our apparel. They're going to be a vendor. They're also part of like the sponsorship stuff. I mean, we have awesome, not only just financial sponsors, but also like, again, prize sponsors as well. And so, but as far as like our setup, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I haven't been knocking on Rogue's door every year. Hey, do you guys want to help sponsor the event? We don't really need a lot of equipment because, like I said, every year the goal is we reinvest back into the event. So like I'm buying the worms, I'm buying the walls, I'm buying the rubber, we're buying the, so the goal is to reinvest back into the event, make it first class as far as all the stuff we have, and then hopefully build up these relationships with different companies and different people. That's probably the coolest part about running the event is like I'm talking to you. I've had conversations on the phone with Brian Friend, a super awesome guy. I've had, interactions with Concept 2 and with Rogue and with these guys, Signs RX. Like those guys are so cool. Constantly going back and forth. Really good friends now with Swolverine. They're an awesome company, good people. I think we were supposed to do a podcast this week with them, but didn't work out with schedule. So hopefully next week or the week after we can talk to them. But just creating these relationships with people, and like even RX Smart Gear, had a really good relationship with them last year. Just really good people. And so that's the coolest part is really the opportunity to meet and talk to people that maybe I was on the outside last year, like looking in and saying, oh, these people are awesome. It's really cool. And now we're having this conversation, which is a little surreal, honestly. It's pretty cool. And just not taking that for granted. And obviously, wanting to always, elevate and kind of rise the tides every year with the event and how we can make it better and how we can make it just more meaningful for everybody that comes and does it as far as an experience. So
I've got to think that venues, like getting a place like a college, has to be a major chunk of a budget for an event. Do you have any affiliation with this college? How would you get in there?
So they're actually just like maybe, less than 10 minutes from my facility, my gym. And so looking again, the one thing about Hagerstown is it's not a great location for what I'm trying to do from a venue standpoint. They're in talks of building a really nice new venue in 2024 that would have like indoor turf fields and a bigger facility for like maybe hosting our main floor. But we'll see if that happens. But this kind of became, a thought, and then we kind of looked around, and then we couldn't find anything else better. And then I went in one day and just talked to the she's in charge of all the her name's Amy. She's in charge of all like the events at the facility, and she's like, yeah, you guys can do this, whatever. She's super cool, super easygoing. And the first year she was like kind of weirded out, like, what do you guys, and she was cool about it, but she's like, what are you guys doing in here, like what's gonna happen? And people, because like there's like a community that walks the track. There's a big indoor track. This place is huge, like 47,000 square feet, and they have a big indoor track, 400 meters. And the 12 o'clock like ladies will walk the track to get some exercise, and they're like, hey, what are you guys doing here? And so, but now that we've been doing it now for 4 years, it's kind of like business as usual. But yes, I would say just the facility for the rental for the weekend is like a shade under $6,000. And so like it's not cheap. And so I got in contact. I don't even know. It was luck actually. I emailed a company out called OTW Safety a couple of years ago because we wanted to tie our rig down because we wanted to make sure it was really, really secure. And I saw they had like these like jersey barriers, and so I emailed them and said, hey, like looking for some jersey barriers for my CrossFit event. I saw you had some. Can I get a quote? And so the guy called me back and was just like, hey, we got a quote here, but I'm kind of curious about this CrossFit thing. Like what's going on? I talked to them about what was going on, and they said, hey, we're trying to find like other venue or other avenues of like sponsorship, because they do a lot of mostly construction stuff with their barricades. And it's like, how would you feel about maybe using some our barricades at your event? And I was using like the galvanized ones before, and like these are really nice. They have like built-in areas for like signage. And so long story short, got connected with them. They sponsored the event, very gracious to provide the barricades for us. And I've tried really hard on my end to provide value in the social media posts. And long story short, we sell the inserts as sponsorships locally. And so if I can sell pretty much the inserts of the barricades, it pays for the venue. And luckily enough, this year we actually hit that. So we have enough sponsors to pay for the venue with that, which is awesome. So that's one less. Now, in the process of getting it done, it's stressful, right? Because you're like, you're basically knocking on every door. Hey, do you want to sponsor our event? And a lot of people don't know what CrossFit is. And so, especially some of the companies, I should say, don't know what CrossFit is. So I've been very fortunate to again, also develop a relationship with these companies that want to sponsor our event. Some new, some reoccurring. And that's been a huge help with allowing for us to pay for the venue and focus on raising the amount of money we're giving to the athletes. This year, we're giving away about $13,000 total in cash between teams and individuals, on top of all the prizes, another $5,000, $6,000 in prizes. And so that's been a great way to, again, kind of eliminate some of that pressure with money, for sure.
How did the athletes qualify for your event? They just sign up, or do you have an online qualifier?
So for the teams, it's first come, first serve. And then for the individuals, I actually use the game season as our qualifier. So essentially, you go through your open, you go through your quarterfinals, you go through your semifinals. And whatever your best placement is, we have like an online submission. You submit where you finished, and we take the top athletes. So the goal is kind of use an already pretty fresh resource like quarterfinals and semifinals. So hey, these guys just did this in the last couple of weeks. They're obviously ready to roll. Instead of having to go through the whole like ordeal of like, okay, here's the online qualifier. Go take stay here, film this here, submit this here. Then I have to watch it, make sure it's all legit. That's already been done, hopefully in a very legitimate way at the affiliates. And so for me, I don't know if anybody else is doing it that way. That's how I do it. I've been doing it for the last couple of years. And so that's how we justify our rankings for the athletes based on their finishes during the game season.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
I
it's despise
the qualifiers.
I mean, the only curveball, there's a couple curveballs with a qualifier. Number one, obviously, is like having to actually sit through watching, sifting through all the videos. Like, to me, it's like, I'm not sure I want to do that. But number two, it's like, okay, what if you're not sure if you want to do the event? You know what I mean? And so like, you have to specifically do that qualifier that weekend in order to be able to do the event. So at least with this, we leave this window open for a very long time, and we start adding athletes as they come in. And then some will say, hey, like, we're going to put you like in a reserve spot in case, whatever. And then we'll let people know, like, hey, you can backfill, or hey, this person didn't accept their invite, so on and so forth. So it's just been a great way to kind of eliminate, any more of a headache that you might have to, go through with these qualifiers. And also, maybe not everybody knows what the METCON Rush is. You know what I mean? And so and then maybe it takes a couple of weeks, or maybe you do it and you qualify for it, and someone goes, oh, that's pretty cool. What is this? And they see what it is,
Right.
and now they're interested in it. So it's a great way to kind of not maybe like sell yourself short, unless you're a rogue or someone big enough that I'm not saying it's not the right way to go, because I'm sure it works really well for a lot of people. But maybe for me, who maybe I don't feel I'm quite maybe established enough to do that, it doesn't limit my overall cast as far as athletes that I can get by doing that. So
For sure.
yeah.
So my last question for you is, you've released the workouts in the elite division. What are you most looking forward to see play out on the floor?
That's a good question. Obviously, like the first event, everybody likes to see a big lift. I'm curious. So what we did is we have a clean ladder. I'm not the biggest fan of like the complexes have become the newest thing. Like, 2 front squats plus 2 jerks plus whatever. And so I was trying to think of a way to not do a 1 rep max per se, but also have a strength event. So we did like a touch and go ladder. So the first bar is 3 touch and go, then it's 3 touch and go, then it's 2 touch and go, then it's 2, and then it becomes singles. And so we announced that workout, the bar ended like at a certain weight, and that was it. But we had planned on releasing a couple, after all the events for all the divisions released, that, oh, by the way, there's going to be an 8th bar, and you can put whatever you want on it for a 1 rep max. It'll be 10 pounds heavier than the previous bar. And then obviously you can just stay at that weight, or you can just put whatever you want. So we have some pretty strong women and we have some pretty strong men. So I'm pretty excited to see some of those numbers. I think the coolest workout is going to be our event number 4, and it's at 10 rounds of 4 ring muscle ups, 10 power snatches, 12 pistols. And I think I've tested all the workouts, and so for me, like, that one was pretty tough. I think it's going to be cool to see them, how fast they come out, what's their decision on far as like pacing, because obviously it's 10 rounds and it's a 15-minute cap. And that's cool also, we have like the chest pieces and we have like the numbers laid out, rounds 1 through 10. So it's gonna be cool seeing them advance their chest pieces to correlate with the rounds. That's gonna be pretty cool. And then the one event I'm kind of excited for is we have one that's going to be a run with we have some like rec bags, but they're going to run out of the ARC Center and go outside and run out a trail and come back. I think it's going to be cool seeing the footage that Will's going to put together of like the aerial of them running and coming back into the facility to come back into the competition for it. That's going to be probably the coolest thing I think to see. But I'm excited for the first event to see what kind of numbers. I've seen some guys and girls put up some pretty big numbers on their Instagram posts. But I think that workout, the first event on Sunday, which is event number 4 for the individual, that 10-round workout, I think that's going to be a really cool workout to see just play out as far as like watch them go back and forth and kind of seeing that pacing.
Well, that's awesome.
I got one question. Do you like have a theme for your event? Would you say you're like a heavy comp or a gymnastics comp?
I try to. My goal was to be as balanced. So the first event is a strength event, which is like that clean ladder. The second event is going to be interval with it's a 21 calorie row, male, 18 cal row, female. Then it's 21 strict handstand push-up men, 18 strict handstand push-up women, then max bar muscle ups in a 3-minute window. It goes 3 minutes on, 1 minute off, 3 minutes on, 1 minute off, and then it goes 4 minutes on. And it's capped at 50 bar muscle ups for the men, 40 for the ladies. So I'm going to reward them if you can get that far. So we go from a strength to a gymnastics, and I think the first event is maybe like an all totality. If you move through, it's like 7 minutes. That's a 12-minute event. Then they end day 1 with a 17-minute cap. It's an 800-meter run with a rec bag into a 250-foot handstand walk into 50 toes to bar into 25 overhead squats at 185, 125. So that has a combination of your longer endurance, some gymnastics, and some heavy overhead movement, right? And then the next day we have like a mid-range 15-minute cap with that 10 rounder, which to me it displays a little bit of everything with your gymnastics, your barbell cycling, and your pacing. And then the last event is just a dead sprint. It's 15 thrusters at 150 or 135, 95. Then it goes into 10 burpee box jump overs, 150 double unders, 10 burpee box jump overs, and then it goes back to the barbell for 15 thrusters. And so that's just a straight 6-minute cap. So I think my goal is to create like balance. That way, if you're really strong in the first event, you might have a little bit of trouble with that gymnastics event, right? Or vice versa. And then you have that kind of that longer 17-minute range where it has a little bit of everything going on. And so the goal is creativity, a good challenge, but also make sure it's realistic. I always tell people CrossFit's not hard to program if you want to crush people. You can make up workouts that are super easy to like just destroy everybody, right? So complementing all that and making sure it's the right amount is something that's also very important. So that's kind of how I approach everything. I mean, these workouts, we do them, we test them, we do them, we test them, revise them, make them better. I have a better idea. So, I mean, I programmed most of these workouts out, I'd say in the last like 3 or 4 months, and we just keep testing them till they're right what they need to be. And I even kind of collab with some of the higher athletes. Like, I don't know if you guys have worked on the podcast with Aaliyah Miller. She's out of Cobra Command. She won it last year for us. I've developed a pretty cool relationship with her. She's awesome. So I was throwing ideas at her about what she thought. Is this too much? Is this too little? What are your thoughts on this? And then Ethan Helbig came out last year. He made the games this year. And kind of just same thing. Hey, man, what do you think about this? Because obviously sometimes you can have a little bit of like the proximity bias where it's like, oh, this is what it has to be this event. It has to be exactly like this. And sometimes you just don't see, the errors in your way because you want it to be that. So I think for me, it's just, again, kind of having never having ego involved is the biggest thing around these events, right? It's not about me. You need a team behind you. There's so many people that allow this event to happen. That's not just me. And so that's the biggest thing I think is just all that combined is how you kind of come up with it. My son just got back from league practice. He wanted to say hi. So yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, so he said, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. So.
Well, we want to thank you so much, Tim, for jumping on with us.
Yeah.
I know it's a busy week for you getting ready for this. And it looks like the electricity's running low.
He was trying to go in the other room and turn my light off accidentally. It's okay, buddy. So, we actually just got back from our day. I started the day at 6:30 teaching class. Left the college around 6 o'clock. Went back to my gym. Said hi to everybody. We took him to Little League practice, and we got back home. And now I'm talking to you guys. So it's been a little bit of a long day, but it's been a good day. Very productive.
Well, good luck this weekend. And
thank you.
I want to figure out a way that next year I got to be at this thing, and
maybe
we can do some live look-ins with the podcast, like go live on all the systems, and because it sounds like an amazing event that we'd love to do that with. So,
you guys are more than welcome to come out.
And we'll be in touch over the next year, and try to do that next year after the game.
Perfect. So. I appreciate you guys' time. I appreciate you even thinking to ask me to come on. It's a very humbling and appreciative thing, and I'm very thankful that you even extended that invite. So thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. It's awesome for the community. It's awesome to highlight all the athletes, and even obviously giving me a chance to be on here. So I appreciate you, and hopefully we get a chance to meet in person here soon.
All right, Tim. Have a great night, and good luck this weekend.
Bye,
thank you guys. Take care. Appreciate you.
All right, there we go.
Cool. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, like this is a high-end comp for not being part of the CrossFit Games season.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But it is. And this is, I think, where we need to go to promote the sport and all these up-and-coming athletes, because they're all going to be coming out of these types of competitions. And then you're going to all of a sudden see them at semifinals and then at the games. And it's going to be where the feeder system for what we're going to see in the future.
Yeah.
So on to our agenda for CrossFit Talk, Thursday Night CrossFit Talk. Let's say hi to all the people in the chat. Damien, Jody, Kenneth, Alberto, Haiti Canyo made a pop in. One of my favorite people in the world. Barry McCockiner is here. Who else we got? Holly. Yeah, crazy.
Holly came in. Nope. No Bruce tonight. Holy cow.
I know. He must have thought you're still on vacation.
He knows I'm home.
Oh, of course he does. So, vacation, how was it?
It was good. It didn't go as planned. We were supposed to be in Maui. But we made the best of it, and thank God we weren't already there. The house that we had booked burned down. And it was right on Front Street there, which is pretty much gone. I think we would have been one of the people having to jump right into the water. So, thankful that we weren't already there. Just a bit of a headache trying to change plans. 1 second, I've got an alarm going off that is stressing me out.
So yeah, got a lot to talk about tonight. Can't wait to get to all the stuff, but I wanted to catch up with Jamie and see how her vacation went.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, we swapped plans over to Kauai and had to pivot like houses. A little bit of stress there. I feel I've been just kind of in a funk. I don't know if I'm I don't take vacations very often, and I've been really emotional for like several weeks.
If we need to move on, we can move on.
We can, sure.
I'm just glad to have you back. I love doing the show with you, and I know that you've been going through a lot, even before the vacation. So just glad you're back. Just glad you're back, and can't wait to talk all things CrossFit with you all the time again. And so yeah, all that. Love you to death. So glad you're here.
I know.
And Holly sends her love as well. So I want to talk about the documentary that we are working on, that I just asked you a big favor and didn't even tell you that I'm working on it this weekend. So like the timeline for day one stuff is going to be tight. But super excited. We've been following 10 athletes from the beginning of the season to wherever they got to. We had 3 athletes make the games. We added 1 athlete last minute because her husband was shooting for us, and we knew we were going to get a ton of footage, so might as well use it. And so I've been going this week through the process of interviewing everybody post games, getting their reflections on everything that happened. The crazy thing, and this is all behind the scenes stuff here, is that my interviews with these people have been like super long.
Yeah.
I don't know if like part of it is I'm emotional. Like I've been with these people since the open, and this is our last interview before I put the last documentary together for the year. And it's been tough. My interview with Justin Kotler went 2 hours.
Whoa.
Interview with Tristan went almost 2 hours. Emily was almost an hour. Alex, we didn't even finish. We have to do part 2 next week, but I have enough to start the first couple episodes. And then I'm with Rudy and Lynette tomorrow night. And then Kelly, thank goodness I did Kelly at the games. Like I interviewed at the games and got that all out of the way when it was fresh, because her story is all about the cuts. And I wanted the emotions of the cuts. But I'll tell you, so I'm interviewing the athlete and their coach. The different sides of the coin that I'm getting about how the events went for each of them is really awesome to hear. On some events, they're singing out of the same hymnal. On other events, you know, there's a little bit of contrast, and it's not that it's completely different. It's just it has a different color or hue from each other, and it gives it a really cool effect. And I've got a couple surprise interviews too that I'm not going to reveal until you watch the documentary, of people that were a part of what happened to the stories of these people. So super excited about that. I'm going to start working on it this weekend. I'm hoping to have episode 1 out in a week and a half.
Okay. And episode 1 is day 1 of the games.
Pretty much.
Okay.
I have to, the piece I can't see in my head is how I don't want to do 2-hour episodes, right? So I need to see how far I get to where it gets to be too cumbersome again.
Okay.
And that's why I want to do it in episodes. I want to do them shorter where I make less, because I made that one mistake doing the long one. I want to do it in little pieces where I can make sure that the mistakes don't happen.
Okay. Makes sense.
Right. And then when it's all done, I will stitch it all together into one big documentary. And so you'll have the option to either go episode by episode, or you'll have the option of the one big long thing at the end.
That'd be cool.
But I'm going to need people like Holly and Jamie to review it before it gets released this time and make sure that we don't make the same mistake we made on the last one.
We're here for you.
Because that YouTube editor is awful.
I know.
It took like 48 hours for me to be able to edit that video. You live and learn.
Yeah.
All for 3 minutes that went awry. All right. So this is something I wanted to bring up. I have on the agenda, and it is tier sponsorships, right? They have been every Wadapalooza. There's rumor that they're the next title sponsor of the games. We don't have that officially yet. That is not official word, but there's rumor that that's out there. And I was watching a show the other day on Paramount Network. I'm going to try to pull up a little clip of it, called Challenge USA. Have you ever heard of this show?
Never heard of it.
Okay, good. I'm going to try to back it up a little bit where I can get to a scene. Okay. A commercial is going to play. So I am going to see if I can mute this and let that play as I do this. But anyway, Challenge USA, for those who don't know, if you ever watched MTV, back in the day, there used to be a show called Road Rules Real World Challenge.
Yep.
It was like stars that were in the Road Rules, stars that were in Real World. They went up against each other in a challenge. It has developed into just Challenge.
Okay.
Challenge USA. So now it's on the Paramount Network. It brings in stars from a bunch of different reality shows, Big Brother, Survivor, all of these things. And they're teamed up in these extreme challenges. They're much bigger than like things you see on Survivor or whatever. Like this week's episode, you had to jump from one semi to another, taking discs back and forth as it's rolling down the road, trying to transfer discs from one side to another. That's just a thing. But anyway, and of course, this commercial is going forever. They are outfitted in these uniforms that are sponsored by Tier.
Interesting.
And this is on CBS on Sunday nights, I think. It's on the Paramount Plus network. You can watch it. And I was just shocked that here's this small company that was a swimming only company when I was in high school. And here they are trying to take over the world.
Yeah.
Now, my question to you is, we know what happened when Noble tried to jump into the NFL and expand its reach into golf in the NFL, right? And then all of a sudden, they start disappearing. Do we think that Tier is making the same mistake?
I don't know. You would think with the history of this company, how long they've been around, they would have a better idea of what they're capable of taking on. But they do seem to be pulling in things very quickly, which I don't know. That's a little nerve-wracking, I would think.
Now, doing the apparel for a TV show is probably not as expensive as jumping into putting together the whole combine workout area for the NFL.
Yeah.
It's probably a deal where they might even be getting paid a little bit to be the apparel sponsor, but the logo is up on the shoulder. And it's really obvious that I mean,
that's huge exposure. Like, whether they're getting paid or not, I would think they would do it for free, because it's can't be a lot of equipment that they're like, if it's just a couple outfits for 20 people, that's like no output, and they're getting a ton of exposure.
Yeah. I just was shocked. I was just looking for brain dead TV to watch one day when I was working on some stuff, or just even listen to, and I put this on, and like in one of the first scenes, they're walking out in their little, because one team's red, one team's blue, one team's green, and you see that and you're like, what the heck? Like, I'm trying to find so I'm gonna show this. Hopefully they put an ad up every time you do this. I'm gonna try. So right where it says advertisement is the tier logo. So I'm going to unpause it. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's right there on the shoulder.
Yeah.
And when it's not cold and they're just in their t-shirts, it's very easy to see. And so, yeah, it's on all the, it's on the pants, it's on the shorts, whatever they're wearing. And I was shocked. But yeah, so there's challenge, and that, the shirts, just like you would see a jersey in CrossFit, they made t-shirt jerseys for all of the contestants in this event as well.
Is anything with the combine like aired? Is that anything that like fans can watch? I don't know.
If you're a geek, like an NFL geek, like it is on NFL Network from morning to night.
Oh, okay. Do you know if the like Noble stuff was visible?
So it was like I could tell it was Noble stuff because of the way they do their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the logo, how prevalent it was, because the most important thing in the NFL Combine is that the number, the position, that is all seen, so that the scout can identify that's a running back. Oh, number 35, that's Joe Smith, and so I don't remember seeing like a Noble anywhere on that front.
Yeah, that's my thing. I just feel like Noble probably footed a ton of money into doing that for probably kind of little exposure. Like, what did that net them?
And they outfitted the entire warm-up area with equipment too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was more than just apparel that they were diving into.
Yeah.
And the NFL is run by Adidas, Nike, like the big boys.
Yeah. Are you pulling in people because you gave some people some of this stuff? Are they going to swap over to you as their new brand that they're buying? Probably not. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, because I've never seen like Noble cleats or, but they, we had Todd on before he left Noble, and he said the idea was that they were the workout apparel for the NFL, not trying to be the game apparel, but the workout apparel. And that's you don't get the bang for your buck with that, because nobody sees, unless you watch a documentary, you're not seeing anybody working out.
Right.
So, yeah. But anyway, it caught my eye, so I put it down on the agenda for this week that there it is on CBS. Tier getting some love.
Yeah,
And
that's so
people
cool.
are seeing that going, who the hell's Tier?
Yeah.
Probably look them up.
Or they know, I mean, a lot of people do know of Tier as a swimming brand. So then if you're like, wait, is that the swimming? And then if you see that they have this whole new side of their company, that's amazing.
Chelsea Mill, think I could get a professional water girl jersey? Sure. You can get a Clydesdale Media one. Just hang with us next year at the games. So, my next thing is, it kind of piggybacks with this, but I don't know how to do it real seamlessly. And that is that there's a rumor that, that Tier is going to be the sponsor if the rumors are true and Masters and Age Group split off from the games, that Tier will be the title sponsor of those games as well. And I haven't had a chance to talk to you about this in depth. And I talked to you about it with Jason Grubb, and I talked to Kelly Friel about their thoughts on this. And I wanted to get your thoughts as well, because you're in a very different position than they are. They've been to the games. Jason's on a 4-year championship run. Kelly's on a 3-year championship run. And for them, they want to keep that run going, regardless if it's in Madison, whether it's with the games or not. They have an agenda to keep that championship run going. You've never been, and it's been a dream of yours to get there. And so I know you have a different perspective, and I tried to speak for you with them, but I'm sure I didn't do an eloquent job.
Yeah, you're going to make me cry again. I don't know if I want to talk about this. This is a big part of why I've been extremely emotional for the last few weeks. I've just been stressed, frustrated. I can't even put it into words. I feel like what I've worked I feel like I've stayed in peak physical condition for 4 or 5 straight years. I'm the fittest I've ever been. Well, I was a few weeks ago. And it's I don't know, for what? It won't be the same. Maybe in a few years, maybe things, I don't know, I guess we'll wait and see what comes of it, but I just feel like everything has been taken from me.
So I won't dwell on it.
Okay.
But I, as your friend, am very, very sad about this. I can hear all of the pump up. It's going to be awesome. We're going to make it better. You're going to be on your own and be highlighted, as opposed to being a sideshow, all that stuff. I've been to these comps in the past. They've never elevated themselves to that level. What is CrossFit going to give them that is going to allow them to make that jump? They have proven nothing to me that is a step that can be taken. And I told this to Grubb, and I told this to Friel, and we've talked about this before. There were more people in the Coliseum for the age group and adaptive than there were for the teams.
Yeah.
The vendors did better on Tuesday and Wednesday than they did on Saturday last year at the games. There were 60,000 people on the stream, with it being an iPhone 4 hanging from the roof. What could that have been if there was just decent coverage?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so people are asking for it for sure.
What metrics are you using to make these determinations? I feel like they have an agenda in their head with no proof that this is what it's going to be that makes things better.
Mm-hmm.
You'd say in a press conference that the adaptives are the most inspirational group of people at the games, and then half of them don't even get the winner shirt.
Yeah.
For going up to get their medal. What the hell is going on? I think it's bullshit. I think that nobody's looking at these numbers. I think they're just making rash decisions. They throw spaghetti at the wall and hope something sticks, but they throw so much of it that they don't even know what works and what doesn't. And I've talked to people, I don't want to name names. I've talked to people in the know that their biggest frustration is CrossFit never writes anything down. Nothing is on paper to tell them, is it good or is it bad? And if something works, like, write it down so that you do that again. But they don't even do that. And then they go back to making stupid mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks because it's the most fun I've had at the games ever was this year. And I think they're tearing it apart needlessly.
Yeah, it'll be different for sure. I'm curious, and I'm curious what even the individuals will turn into. I mean, I can't really even envision what they're aiming for. I think I tried to listen to Dave, and he clearly wants this to be something that's travelable, and I don't know, I honestly can't comprehend what he's trying to make it into, because it was so great. In 2018, they had something perfect running, and every year they've messed with it and haven't. Of course, you have to keep making changes at this point. You've continued to mess with something that was great, that was going places, and I don't know, nobody can get a foothold.
Let me pose it to you this way. If the biggest complaint people have is how you measured a 5K, it probably was a pretty good year.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Right. If that's the biggest problem, we're not in a bad place. And yet now we're going to rip it apart. You have vendors that are happy. That should be way up on the list of what's important to move forward. If people are spending money at the event and vendors are happy, something's going well.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense to me, the logic behind this. Now,
I mean,
go ahead.
I think they're looking to make their lives a little bit easier. You cut back to literally 40 athletes, 80 athletes, and then your team. And I don't even know, what's the team going to look like? 30 teams, 40 teams, 20 teams? Are you putting teams in this? Or are you literally trying to keep it down to a field of 80 people and limit the amount of equipment you have to get out, limit the amount of time spent on the floor? I don't know what they're looking to do. It is thundering crazy here. Holy cow.
Yeah, I saw the lightning.
Oh my God.
So there's a lot of people in the chat. Hugs Jamie, sucks plain and simple. Jody says, Jamie, kisses. And I'm sorry, Jamie, this makes me sad for you and all the masters and age groups. If you look at the metrics, I think where they need to make the cut is teams. It's confusing. As someone that's a CrossFit geek, you and I sat in the Coliseum at times and didn't even understand what they were trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
That's if you have to make a cut, to me, that makes sense. It breaks up the day on the individuals, and people will then go to Vendor Village. They'll go eat food. They'll go in between those events. You don't need to run something all freaking day on that weekend. And yeah, I don't know. I'm really upset about this. My only hope is, because I think they're already down the road, is that the people that are given the opportunity just hit it out of the park. But I hope they're given the funds to do so.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The way Legends and Masters Fitness Championship has been set up, the prize pool is not there to draw in the same crowd. And then you get to the point where like, so if I win MFC again, like, is that really notable? I know everyone's gonna be like, no, you didn't have, like, I always feel like some of those titles mean nothing because they're not CrossFit Games. And is that always going to be the case? Because, I mean, nothing against Legends. They did a great job, but like the prize purse was the same across the board. And there is something different between a 35-year-old vying against 20, 30,000 other people to make it to a certain than 4,000 65-year-olds. It's different. And I don't personally feel like I don't want to say deserve, but like, it's just like the money, there's a reason that it's like 25,000 at the games for 35 to 39 and 3,000 or whatever for 65 plus in the, like it's different. And there's a reason that it's 300 plus thousand for the elite. I mean, it's different.
Let's be honest, 50 and below are what people came to see even in the age groups.
Yeah.
Right. So like up to 49, 35 to 49, those three divisions, there were a shit ton of people there to watch. And I think it doesn't mean that the others are not ever going to get there, but it's going to take time to move the people forward and give them incentive to be there. Right. People aren't like Casey Acree that said, I prepared for the day that they added an adaptive division that I could compete in, right? Not everybody thinks like that.
Yeah.
And you have to show them what's possible. And now you have like the 40 to 44-year-old with Sam Briggs and Becca Voigt and Jen Ryan and all these people. You had 35 to 39 with Stacy Tovar and Chelsea Nicholas and Case.
Sam Dancer.
Yeah, Sam Dancer and Scott Panchik and you have the Jason Grubbs that are needle movers, and you have from 49 down because they've seen what's possible and they've had the incentive to get there. We haven't advanced to 50 plus yet where that incentive is there. It doesn't mean that people up there aren't inspirational, but nobody knows their names and so it doesn't attract the people that those other three divisions do. And so if it's going to move off, then have it run by people who understand that fact that these are your marquee divisions. This is where you need to invest in the money. And then it will leak upward as those people move on. You'll get another division in a couple years. And then a couple years after that, you'll get another one.
Yeah.
It's like Lana fighting to get leaderboards for 70 to 74 and 75 to 79. You have to show them what's possible.
Right.
She's not asking for a game spot. She's not asking for a competition spot, just a leaderboard so people know what's possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think it sucks for you. I think it sucks for a lot of people. I think we're going to lose a lot of the big names we saw this year because someone like the people, all that group of people we just mentioned, right? Scott Panchik's at the games for other reasons.
Yeah.
Sam Dancer's at the games for other reasons. Unless they pull in big sponsors to this other event where the sponsors are going to want them there and they're going to do appearances and they're going to the athletes are going to have to buy in and do all these appearances and signings and all that kind of stuff too to promote the event. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard at first.
Yeah.
So have we killed that enough?
Yeah. Most people know my thoughts.
Well, I wanted to give you the opportunity to be able to say those things because it's important to you and people need to know all the perspectives of that.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't know. I've been trying to look at the brighter side of things and not be such in a funk. It's been hard, but like, it's hard to envision what it could be. It's hard to not have the negative thoughts about what it's probably going to look like. And yeah, I mean, I guess I'll like, if it is, it is what it is. And I'm going to have to figure it out and roll with the punches and try to make the best of the situation. And
Lana says, appreciate the plug, Scott. Watching 60 plus females do muscle ups was pretty incredible at the games.
they
Lana,
are incredible.
when she walked out and said she wasn't doing Masters Fitness Championships because she doesn't need to scale rope climbs. She can do rope climbs. Love that attitude.
Yeah.
And Lana's 70 plus. And she killed it last year at MFC.
Yeah. I know. She's amazing.
So from one soapbox to another, this is just going to be a big old riff and rant show. Maybe that's what we should start calling this, Thursday Night Riff and Rant. I did some poll questions on YouTube. Which one is this? Okay, there we go. And it was the way too early 2024 CrossFit Games pick for the men. Who you got? I am livid.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you can see it. I'll try to blow it up a little. There we go. So Roman Krinikov got 46% of the vote. Ricky Garrard got 30%. Jeff Adler got 12%. The champ, the man who has improved year over year over year, 12%, won the games, 12%.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Are you freaking kidding me? I thought I didn't have to bang the drum anymore.
You do.
Listen here. Let's look at this, not even from a talent perspective. Ricky Garrard is coming off massive shoulder surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that that is going to affect his overhead positioning, his overhead strength?
I mean, I don't know. Brooke came back maybe stronger than ever.
Oh,
Yeah. There's a lot of people who get shoulder surgery that I don't know, a year, it'll be close.
Roman Krinikov has a broken foot. We don't even know what else is wrong in there.
Right.
Was a ligament damaged? Was a tendon damaged? We don't know any of that stuff. And automatically people are saying he's going to win the games. Jeff Adler came out of the games as healthy and as strong as he did going in. And this year's games didn't even have what he was really good at.
Right.
And he won the games. And yet he got 12% of the vote.
He got my vote.
So that is the men's side. There's I'm going to have to bang the drum for another season.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that Jeff is going to win the games next year. But, all last year we heard, well, Justin's a two-time champion. He's the champ until someone dethrones him and blah, blah, blah. And Jeff isn't getting any of that.
Right.
None of it.
You think it's just because of the injury and you didn't actually get to see it play out?
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like what?
I don't think
it's frustrating.
I don't think Jeff is as popular, to be honest with you, as the other people. And there's a bias that, here's this guy in Northern Canada who doesn't get any love and isn't out on the socials like everybody else. And he doesn't have win the popularity contest. That's
That's crazy to me because I think he's extremely likable. I like him more than I like Roman.
okay. I agree with you. We've had him on 3 times. I love this dude. I love Caroline. I love him. He is extremely likable. When you're sitting in the Coliseum, who got the cheers?
Yeah, Roman did. Yeah.
Last year, Ricky did.
Yep.
You know, they are just and Ricky's polarizing, right?
Colton did get a lot of cheers. That is true.
I'm not talking about Colton. I love Colton, but he's not going to win the games.
No. Pat gets a lot of cheers.
Agreed. But Jeff doesn't get the cheers unless he makes those comments, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't think I could do that, or when that stuff happens, then he gets the cheers. And maybe it's going to take some time, but he doesn't put himself out there like everybody else. Like, there's a reason that our 3 episodes with him after the games blew up.
Mm-hmm.
There's just not much out there on him.
He's just a quiet assassin. I kind of love that about him.
I do too. So I also did this for the women, and I'm sure you're not going to be shocked.
Oh boy, yeah. Ooh, Emma got 12%. That's pretty good.
Emma got 12%.
Yeah.
You know, people are saying that we have a Canadian bias, that we love our Canadians.
I can't dispute that. So
did you do the spin poll when you were gone?
I did. I was like late, but he messaged me. I got it in because I'm off 6 hours. I was a mess.
So who did you put first in the spin poll? If
Tia.
you are willing to, Tia?
Yeah.
I didn't.
You didn't?
I didn't.
I mean, if she comes back, I think she'll win. I don't think anyone can touch her still.
So here's my thought process. Like, mentally, I don't think there's anybody better in the game than she is. After the first 2 years at the games, she built a mindset that was bulletproof. But her last year at the games was not the most dominant. She did not get the leader's jersey till like late day 2.
Yeah.
And she has a year off. And everybody else is getting better. So I put Laura 1. There were events this year that Tia would not have come close to Laura. I mean, she have won events by minutes.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
So my top 4 on the spin poll were Laura, Tia, Emma, Alex.
I'm trying to think who I put 4th. I went Tia. I think I did put Laura, and I put Emma. I may have went Tia, Emma, Laura. And I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on 4th. I know I put Katrin quite a bit higher, like top 6, somewhere up there. I know. I actually may have put Ariel 4th. Ken just brought her up. She may have been my 4th.
I think I had her 5th.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to pull that up and look at my poll. I gotta write those down somewhere.
I need to see her mindset a month from now.
Yeah.
Right. The only reason I had her low in the spin poll this year was I think I believed in her more than she believed in her.
Yeah.
And so that's all. It for Ariel, it all comes down to her mindset. And I know for her, it's a delicate balance as to whether it's going to be too much pressure on herself like she had in the 2000 teens when she didn't make the games, and free and easy aerial that seems to compete better under that thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I talked to Kotler today, and Kotler said she was as bulletproof as it comes for the podium at the games this year. Like, she put together, coming in second in that, or third in the 5K, was one of the most impressive things he saw all weekend. So, Bruce, now you're just pushing buttons. She is the fittest American woman and the third fittest woman in the world, period. We don't need clarifiers.
Yeah.
I don't know about Mal. I don't know enough about what's going on to put her that high. I think I had her in my top 10, but I didn't put her that high until I just don't know.
I honestly didn't even put her in the top 40.
Wow.
I have this sinking suspicion she may not come back. I did put Haley in my top 20. I feel like she does want to come back, but I'm still questionable on Mal, so I didn't pick her.
So I put Haley, I can't remember where I put her, but I did the spin poll before I saw the Invictus Mindset podcast. With that, I probably move her up. I think she's in a good place.
Is she still at Mayhem training?
She is.
Okay.
Yeah, Rich confirmed it.
Okay.
On something that she's doing a squat cycle and some stuff like that.
Awesome.
I don't think she's like fully back yet. She's just leaking her way back in with some strength stuff, and but yeah.
Haley's regularly been pretty high, Ken.
Yeah, I think she had a 6th, a 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, come on, Bruce. If you watched the show I did with Ariel, if you saw the reel that I put out with Ariel, she's even over the mom part of being called the fittest mom. Because it feels like a clarifier. Like,
yeah.
She did, and she said on our show, I didn't have to play that card this year. I didn't need the consolation prize. And if you think about it, there were 2 moms in the field.
Mm-hmm.
So if you say you're the fittest mom, that means she beat one person.
Yeah.
Right? She beat thousands of people to be the third fittest person in the world. Like, that is more important. That's all. I'm not taking anything away from being a mom or what she's accomplished, but she doesn't need to play the card this year. She is just freaking fit.
True that.
So there was that. Now, what else do we have on here? Oh, road qualifiers. Do you see? You going to do them?
I don't think so. I'm telling you, it is rough going around here. I can barely get my butt into the gym. I still feel like I'm off on sleep, and I've slept a crap ton since I've been home. I've got to do the Legends qualifiers, which somewhat ticks me off over the next 2 weeks. So that's what's on my plate right now. Is I just took 11 straight days off of literally doing nothing but drinking and trying to find any fitness to pull out these qualifiers. It is what it is. I'm just going to do them kind of like I did MFC. I'm just going to get through them and hope I eke my way in there, and then we can go there and do work. It's been exhausting trying to stay in literally peak physical condition for 4 years straight. And it's like, we never get a break ever. I had MFC qualifiers a month and a half ago. I've got Legends qualifiers. Then I got to go to MFC. Then I got to go to Crash. Then I got to go to Legends. Then I got to do the Open. There's no break.
Yeah. Sounds like we need a mindset with Scott Day.
Probably. I'm a mess, Scott. It's been.
Kenneth says sit in the sauna and sweat out those toxins. Bruce says those margarita curls.
That's all I did, Bruce. Yeah, I need to find a sauna. That could help. I actually got a massage and an adjustment today. I like couldn't turn my head. I think from like sleeping on the plane like this. I got a massage and adjustment, and I feel a lot better tonight. So we'll see how the gym goes tomorrow. I think I'm going to do one of the workouts for the qualifiers.
Well, I will tell you, going from California to Ohio just about wrecked me for a week. I can't even imagine adding 2 more hours to that. Losing 2 hours or 3 hours in the flight.
It was 6 hours difference. You know, like, and lost 6 hours coming back. We essentially lost a whole day. Like, God, yeah, it was nuts.
So Barbell Spin did a big, long, in-depth rogue qualifier thing. We won't hit them like that. They're out. People are doing them this week. I see in the chat Colton's doing them because he hasn't heard anything yet. Colton always does well with the rogue qualifiers.
Yeah.
Seemingly. As long as he measures it or weighs his weights.
Yep.
He should be fine. But plans for rogue. I had said over and over again that I probably wasn't going to rogue because if we can't get bang for a buck, it's just not worth it for us.
Right.
Well, I think we found bang for a buck.
Oh.
So I think we're going to be going to rogue. And Southwest just put out flight deals to Austin. And I think round trip like about $250. So not too bad. And 2 bags for free on Southwest.
Yeah, Southwest is the way to go, man.
So with that, I kind of announced the other night that an athlete has asked that they want to do a day in the life and nobody would do it with them. So I said yes.
That's awesome.
So I think with that, I'll be spending a day with an athlete. Then I'll be going to Austin and then maybe doing a whole behind the scenes of that weekend with that athlete. And because Rogue doesn't let you film much of the actual action on the floor, but I can get a ton behind the scenes. So I think that is the plan. I just have to work out the logistics. As long as I can get them to work, the athlete has agreed to it. So I think I'm going to Rogue. And I applied for media credentials, so I can get at least a little bit of footage. Kenneth, I don't want to announce the athlete until I have the logistics in place.
I bet you got a guess.
A lot of people guessed the other night when I kind of leaked it out.
I mean, there's only so many athletes in Texas worth going to see.
The athlete was in Texas.
You just said you're going.
I was going to the athlete, then to Austin.
Okay.
Well, in Austin, another athlete who agreed to be followed for the whole season next year is in Austin. And so I could do some footage with them in a day in Austin. And our C4 is based in Austin. And our contact is an athlete, Chase Long, and he works out at CrossFit Yarinjuku. So that really hard word to say.
Yeah. I used to know how to say it. No, I'm drawing a blank, but yeah.
Yeah.
Jakarhu. I don't know. It's not like that, but yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Something like that. Anyway, it's not Kelly Baker. She's probably sick of me. So go see Chase, seal up the deals with C4 and all that for hopefully another year and do all that. So I think that I could kill 4 birds with one stone.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. C4 flavor Clydesdale Colada. Clydesdale Arita, I'd be more with than a Colada. But sure. So, and I put Jamie's name down as my co-person for Rogue, but no pressure. Because I know
we'll
she
talk.
is.
Yeah.
I think I can replace because you actually apply as an entity and not as a person.
Okay.
Rogue, but you have to list 2 people.
Okay.
So since you were the one that went to everything with me last year, you got the first dibs, and then we'll see what happens from there. So now PFAA, are you frozen? Oh no, Jamie's frozen. So hopefully she unfreezes. And PFAA, they made an announcement. There, now you're back.
Oh yeah, I lost power there for a second.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it ain't good.
So PFAA said they met with their membership after the games, some in person, some by Zoom or whatever they need to do. Don Fall made an appearance, talked about working together to grow the sport, and then he left so the members could talk freely amongst themselves without him in the room. And they mentioned that they have 2 pillars, right? It was safety and fairness. They had decided that that they are adding a 3rd pillar, which is ways for athletes to make money.
Okay.
So that apparently was a big concern from the membership after the games. I think they're going to publish more from that meeting and even put out a video of that meeting. So I'll be anxious to see that. But it was good to see that they met with, I know they met with Dave and Dawn before the games, and that Dawn came and addressed the members after the games before leaving Madison.
Yeah. Is the PFAA only elites? There's no masters representative?
There's masters, I believe.
There is a masters representative or some?
I believe so.
Yeah, I would
more than one.
Okay. I would be curious how all this would transfer to the master's side.
So there's also coaches on this. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh.
So Justin Kotler is a member of the PFAA.
Okay.
He has very strong thoughts about a lot of things. As you know. And we did talk about that a little bit. And he thinks there needs to be a complete restructure of the season.
Interesting.
And that's the only way that athletes will be able to make money.
I could see that.
So I think he said that publicly enough that I can probably say that, but yeah, he reiterated that to me today.
Yeah,
so
I can see that.
The last thing I have on the agenda, but I have one more thing, and that is, did you see the HWPO behind the scenes?
Nope.
So it was way down in my queue. I went through a lot of other things before I got to it. I've never been a big Katrin fan. This essentially was Matt and Katrin at the games. Him coaching her individually from like a week prior to the games all the way through the games to the end. Their dynamic is freaking amazing. The respect they have for one another is really cool to see. And it was cool to see Matt almost break down that Katrin, who has this storied career as a 2-time champion, took a chance on him as pretty much a new coach to elevate her game. they have an awesome relationship through the whole thing. And at the very end, they're sitting on the steps coming up out of the underneath at the Coliseum up to like the press where we, spend a lot of time. And just talking about how proud of each other they were. And Katrin says,
I'm back.
You're back. Okay. Oh, there goes the lights again. So anyway, I'm going to keep going. Hopefully Jamie's okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. But it is pitch black in your house. So anyway, she says that she is so happy about her improvement over this year, but she wants more. And Matt's like, that is exactly what I wanted to hear. And then they do an individual thing with her talking about kind of like how timid she was to ask Matt to be her coach and how the process of just asking him to take over as her coach was hard for her, but she knew she had to do it because he was somebody that she respected so deeply. And she starts crying about what happened and how it all went down. And it's really, really good. And Kenneth says, I don't know why people are upset. He says in the first 5 minutes, hey, I was strictly Katrin's coach only. Right. They made an agreement before going to the games that oh my gosh, Jake was this person's coach, that Matt was Katrin's coach, that Harry was Amanda's coach. Like they had all separated all this out before they even started the games.
Yeah.
And really, I think a big part of it was that, Matt was expecting a child and Katrin could handle. Basically, Matt's like, she doesn't need the strategy. She just needs someone to hold her bags and to give her a little pump up before everything. And I think that's what Matt could handle with everything going on in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad they captured that relationship because I think it wasn't a superficial documentary. It actually had a lot of heart to it, and was really well done.
That's cool.
So I can't believe you're sitting in the dark.
Yeah. Can you see the light outside?
I see something bouncing around.
We're in the dark. We got no power. I'm in trouble.
So I was going to ask you where you wanted the games to be next year, but we can hold off on that until next week.
Okay.
In the pitch black, and a flashlight or something.
That's Aaron with a flashlight. Yeah, it's not good for us when we lose power. We're on a well. I don't even have water. It's not good.
Well, this is a first, that one of us loses power but can still broadcast.
Yeah.
In the pitch black. So anyway, with that, it's been a fun episode. We got the rant, we got the riff, we got all to do all that. I got to catch up with my friend, and what I'll do is I'll end this broadcast, and then we'll talk about how we can finish up this documentary, at least the first part of it, this weekend. And if we have to meet another time, we can. But with that, everybody, stay safe out there. We're supposed to get thunderstorms here in Columbus too tonight, so it could be a matter of time before I'm in the same situation.
Oh,
but until then, we will see you all next week on Thursday Night CrossFit Talk. Bye, guys.